I want to congratulate you and We the World on the 20th anniversary of 11 days of global unity. Together, you, me, and we can create a better world and have fun doing it.
Thank you, Dr. Jane Goodall, for helping We the World and all our partners to celebrate more than 20 years of 11 days of global unity. And thank you all for joining us. Welcome to the 11 Days of Global Unity Summit. My name is Rick Ulfik, and I am the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net. And I'm also the co-creator of 11 Days of Global Unity. Today, as part of the theme of 11 Days Economic Justice, I'm excited that we will be joined by Jack Strasburg, who will be talking about creating an economy that works for all. For the full 11 Days Summit schedule, you can register for free by going to 11daysofglobalunity.org. 11 is a numeral, 11daysofglobalunity.org. There you can see all the 11 Days Summit broadcasts. And at we.net, you can take action with the 11 campaigns for change, subscribe to Trends magazine, and you can make a contribution to support all this work by going to we.net/donate. Thank you so much. I also want to acknowledge some of our amazing partners who we support and collaborate with during 11 Days of Global Unity and all year round. The UN International Day of Peace NGO Committee, Peace Day Philly, the Unite for Peace Coalition, which includes Unity Earth, the Sign Network, One World Rising Global Powwow, We Rise as One, Hubcast Media, The Awakening World, We the World, also Climate Week, the Deep and Rapid Transformation Convergence, Pause the World in Times Square, and the Pace e Bene Nonviolence Campaign. What an amazing movement representing literally millions of people working to achieve global unity, all working with We the World and the We campaign at we.net. And thank you all so much for joining us. Today, we will be addressing the 11 Days theme of economic justice. There has been an erosion of civil rights, the rule of law, democracy, and freedom, which is harming millions of people in the US and worldwide. We see powerful special interests expanding a culture of us versus them and intolerance to gain and hold onto political power. This has meant that the richest people in society are actually becoming richer at the expense of everyone's well-being. Public services in all sectors, like health, education, environmental protection, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, even public media are being defunded. And many in the USA are already experiencing financial insecurity, poverty, and hunger. Around the world, the results of this defunding have been catastrophic. Professor Dr. Brooke Nichols of the Boston University School of Public Health estimates that funding cuts to the agency USAID since January have already caused more than 330,000 deaths worldwide. Well, now that I've stepped down from my soapbox, I am really excited to bring into the conversation Jack Strasburg. And once I officially introduce you, Jack, I have some questions that we can talk about. Jack Strasburg is a peace, justice, and environmental activist and holds a bachelor's degree in economics and psychology. Jack has served on the board of the Tucson Peace Center and was a founding member of the local, state, and national Green parties, and served on the National Board of Directors for 5 years. He has been a candidate for public office twice, and Jack has been a longtime partner of We the World and friend, and has been a leader of our economic justice campaign for several years. Welcome to the broadcast, Jack Strasburg.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. So Jack, here are my questions, and they are all related to creating an economy that works for all. Could you please react to what I was saying about the inequality that is harming so many people? How have you and your allies been working, creating an economy that works for all? However, first, though, can you talk a little bit about yourself and the mission that you are on? Thanks, Jack.
You know, way back in 1974, if not a year or two before that, I came to the conclusion that the system we were living with was not adequate to being a good system for most of the people on the planet. And I realized back then that it was time to start what I call a new paradigm. That's what I called my website at the time. And so that has been, I guess that's pretty much been my focus for the last 50, well, gosh, it's getting to be 50 years now, or pretty close. And it's been a slow rise, and it's been happening a little bit faster. But basically, what it comes down to is that I want a world that works for all, and that is basically the world mission statement. And my thinking is that if you want a world that works for all, you have to have an economy that works for all. It's pretty hard to look at a world that works for all where people don't have enough to eat, don't have a roof over their head, don't have health care, transportation, and on with all those things. So my thinking is that what we have to do is that we really have to start. Well, in fact, people have already started. I shouldn't say start because people have been doing this for a while, but we really have to work on how we create a whole new system, or what I call a parallel system. And you could call it a parallel, or you could call it, I guess by other thing, an alternative system. Because I remember, I know, Rick, that you recall, but I'm not sure, if all our audience is as old as we are. Buckminster Fuller had a quote that is often quoted by people. You never change things by attacking the given situation. To change something, you need to create a model that makes the current model obsolete. And so that has been, if you want to get down into where I am coming from and have been coming from, basically for the last 50 years, I've been coming from a direction of how do we create that model? How do we do that? I'm going to go through a few of the organizations that are doing this. And my favorite one is the Social Solidarity Network. And the Social Solidarity Network is my favorite because it's basically it's a non-hierarchical group. You don't have bosses in there. It's a worker-owned cooperative. In other words, the people who are the workers actually own the business that they're working with, a workplace that is democratic. Another organization that I think is doing some good work here is the Conscious Business Group. And so they put out a worker declaration. Rick, you were a original signatory to that Conscious Business Declaration. The other organizations that are involved with there is the New Economy Coalition, NEC, NEC. And then there's the Next System Project. That's a project of the Democracy Collaborative. And then there's another is a Resist and Build organization that basically says we resist what's going on, but we don't just resist, we actually build and create an alternative to that. I am working on trying to get this Conscious Business Group and the Social Solidarity Economy Group a lot more communicative and collaborative. They hardly know each other. And I think that's something that should be rectified because I think they would both be very, very, very have much more impact on what's going on than they do at the present moment.
So thank you, Jack. That's great to see that overview. And the issue that you bring up about organizations that are working on creating a better world, sometimes they are operating out of their own silos, and therefore it isn't as effective as when these organizations are working together. This is an ongoing issue. I've been in many meetings with organizers of these organizations that have many, many constituents, and yet it's rare for them to come together and even co-create programs that can invite everybody to the table at the same time. And yet everybody knows that this is an issue. So I guess we're just doing the best we can. We the World has some tools in this regard. One of them that I would mention, and it's not the easiest thing to implement, but it's very powerful, is this idea of a joint press release. So getting organizations that know about each other, they can work on a joint press release where there's some kind of agreement about the opening paragraph or two, talking about the overall movement, but then each particular organization is sending out their own press release that's part of the joint press release concept. So each organization can put their logo at the top and send it out to their media contacts, but in the body of the press release, there are paragraphs about the partners. So they show up in the press release, even though a particular organization is taking the lead on this particular press release. So it's a powerful way that you can have even 20 organizations or 50 even flooding the media airwaves with what all the organizations are working on together, even though each particular organization is responsible for their particular angle, and their own promotion of what they're doing in particular. So I offer that as a tool that can be used.
Basically, what you're talking about, the idea is, I have long tried to, just insert in there the idea that the people who want to live in a better world, a world that works for all, have really got to get a whole lot better coordinated, cooperative, collaborative, organized, and because we're really falling short on that. I think we're getting better at it, but what we have to realize that a reason why the people who are kind of running things, the people that are responsible pretty much for what's going on in this world, yes, they do have a lot more resources than we have, but I would say, and how do they got those resources? That a major thing is that they are just a whole lot better organized than we are. And that is a huge part of why they're running things and we're not. Now, when you talk about the inequalities, I'm going to take maybe a little different angle on that than maybe you thought might be, or I might. But what we really need to do is create that alternative economic system that I'm talking about. And there are ways we can do that. And I have this thing that I'm trying to put out there, which comes down to basically most of us that are listening to this, most of us in our networks and partners and whatever, would shop at a conscious business. And in this case, not just talking about conscious business the way I was talking about it before, but conscious business in general, including the solidarity networks and all businesses out there where people are acting in a conscious way. And people would shop there, but they so often don't know where they are, don't know who they are, aren't sure when a business advertises that it's a conscious business, whether or not it is. So the thing that I think I guess I almost say need to do is put together several rather large databases, because the people who are wanting to shop in a conscious way need to know who it is and where to find it. And they don't to a large extent, because they do it when it's convenient. So what I'm saying, if we had a database and they could say, well, I'm going to go shopping for this, they have a database to check and say, oh, on 23rd Street, there's this business here that is certified by this group that put out this database that they're a conscious business, that they're going to do good things. If I give them my money, they're going to spend it in a good way, not to harm the environment or harm other people. So that's one thing of that. And I think we would really increase the income of conscious businesses if the people who want to shop in conscious businesses knew how to find them and which ones are conscious for real. So
that makes sense.
So that's a big thing that I'm into. Now, the other side of that coin is, well, it would be very useful for the people who are running conscious businesses to know who the conscious people are, so they know where to direct their information and direct their sales pitches and whatever to, and know the people who are going to respond in a good way. And it just would make things so much more efficient that they could go again to a database. And when we start talking about this, I think you said this before, the world, is connected with, I think, millions of people, right? On one level or another? Well, that's a lot of people. And then some of these other groups are associated with large numbers of people too. What I'm getting at is there are so many people out there that would do the right thing if they knew what the right thing was. And when I say right thing, I'm talking about shopping at conscious businesses and with people who are going to spend that money in a way that's going to be good for the people on the planet. And we always got to take into consideration the planet, the environment, the animals and the birds. I mean, it's everything. It's not just humans. In fact, I sometimes think that the animals and birds and stuff deserve that more than we do, but I won't go too far into that right now. And then the other thing is, if we want to grow the alternative economy, a way to do that is through these databases. In other words, let's say I want to start a coffee shop. And I think, well, I want to start a coffee shop. I think I could do a good job. It'd be good. But am I going to have enough customers to support me? Are they going to come in and do this? So if you have another database where they can go and say, okay, if I start this coffee shop, how many people who are part of our networks are going to come and drink coffee at my place? And then they get responses and they look at it and say, well, wow, there's a lot of people are willing to do this. I could start a coffee shop and be successful with this many people. So basically what it comes down to is here you are on opening day, and you already have a large customer base. So this is an idea that I have put together that I'm trying to get out there more and get more people to kind of sign on to it.
As you're talking, I'm wondering if there is something like a green search engine that will prioritize conscious businesses in their search engine. And if that's the case and it's well done enough, then people could use that green search engine to find out who they would like to give their business to. And it's just an idea. I'm sure it does exist, but I don't know anything about it. Do you?
I actually, if I thought about it longer, it might come to mind because it seems like I should be aware of that, but I can't. I can't immediately right now say that I am aware of that.
Right.
But it is definitely something that I want to try to help organize and create. If it is out there, I'll do the research. If it is out there, great. If it's not, let's build it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's an idea, right?
Right.
Very interested in terms of having a call to action that we can promote, because I'm not really happy with what's happening in the USA and globally, given all the issues and problems going on. So I think people taking action is really important.
Yeah, well, I think when you say what comes an action to be taken, my focus on that is kind of what I was talking about. We need to take the action to get much better organized. We need to take action to keep our money in our community. I mean, here we are, we're out there spending money with Amazon, with Walmart, with billionaires out there, and they're getting our money. Why are we doing that? Why aren't we putting together a system by which we can keep that money in our community? And again, like we were talking about, spend that money with people who deserve it and who will also spend it wisely. And I think when you say call to action, I guess that would be my call to action, is we got to put together this alternative economic system so that we can afford to do the things that we know we should be doing if we had the resources to do it with. It just comes down to the idea of, like you were talking about silos. We got to get out of the silos. We got to be cooperating, coordinating, collaborating. And that's my call to action, is to start working on that.
Yeah. So one of your calls to action is for people to be conscious about how they are spending their money, right? And
Right.
I would extend that as well to being conscious about the kind of media that people are consuming, because that has a huge effect on the kind of culture that we all have. And I'm always I always step up on the soapbox that has to do with media, because I believe that the messages in the media, and that's not just mainstream media, but also social media, all kinds of media, those messages become the fabric of our culture, which means what's normal in our culture comes from what we absorb. So just being conscious about the media that we are consuming is an important action.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point. I know Jim Garrison does this at times. Like, he has a group of people that he goes to get the real information. Because I mean, if you just listen to the mainstream media, you don't know what's going on, because we have to realize that mainstream media is owned by the same people that have put us in this predicament in the first place. So what they're putting out there is what's going to kind of encourage people to follow what they already are doing, the system that already exists, and make that more and more rich and large. So I guess what I'm saying is that we really have to start thinking about and contacting people who do know what media people they can contact and actually get accurate information. I mean, a kind of a easy one would be Democracy Now. She doesn't always go as deep as some others do, but it's usually good information. The Intercept. Well, anyway, I guess I could go on, but Jim Garrison does that. But I guess what I'm saying is I think we need to put together a little database of some thoughts and put it out there. In fact, maybe in the We newsletter or something, these are the people that you can get information from, who you can rely on, and who are going to tell you what's really going on. So yeah, we do have to do that.
Yep. So we have our magazine that we the World publishes called Trends in Global Grassroots Organizing, and in a earlier issue, a couple of years ago, we had a list of reliable media. And so maybe we can do an update on that. So that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. Yeah, definitely would do that.
So in terms of a call to action, we are promoting the hashtag urgency for action. That's the word urgency and then the number 4 and then the word action. So it's hashtag urgency for action. And we're promoting that in many of the platforms that we're doing things in, social media platforms and in newsletters and things like that. And here is my call to action.
All right.
It's called the We Power Campaign. And it's about the power of we. Millions of us coming together to transform our society so it prioritizes the common good. And there's a whole strategy. It's worked out how to do it. And the idea is to have as many as 2 million people who will take at least one action per month. And imagine doing that, right? I mean, you can just, it would be amazing. And then they will, at a certain point, realize about each other that they have this power, right? The power of the people, right? To transform our society. So to help us launch the We Power campaign, you can go to we.net/We Power campaign. And you'll see a kind of a PowerPoint slide presentation there. So Jack, this has been truly inspiring. Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to? Oh, did you want to give people a way that they could connect and collaborate with you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You just took the words out of my mouth. Well, basically, I guess I'll just go through it slower. If somebody wants to get a pencil and paper, I'll give you a few seconds to do that, or a minute or two.
Yeah.
And another way too that you could go to we.net, and I think I'll make sure that my contact information is in the economic justice campaign area. So I'm not sure if you would think so, but I'm not sure if it is. It might be.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm just going to slowly give out my email. It's Jack, Jack, Strasburg, STRA, S as in Sam, B as in boy, URG, at we.net. Hopefully you can get that, but you can remember that the WeNet webpage is one of the easiest in the world to remember, because it's just WE.net.
Exactly, like the network of we.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Hey, well, this has been great, Rick. I really enjoyed this, and I think we said some useful stuff here.
Yeah, I totally agree. So thank you, Jack Strasburg, so much, and thank all of you for watching this and for being part of 11 Days of Global Unity. To get involved, please go to we.net, as Jack said, we.net. And it's all about we, right? So this is a W, right? So let's go from a me society, which is like an M, to a we society. And that's why we launched we.net. So together we can create a world that works for all. Thank you so much.